Hey, what's up, guys? It's Johnny Johnson here with Lift Promos and Lift Threads. Excited to talk to you guys a little series on branding and getting the most out of your brand. And for you new companies, how to choose a good logo, how to choose good branding, and everything like that. How we came to this, that I should be doing this, is the number one question we get from our clients is, how do I make my brand look good, and how do I help people to understand what our story is using our brand? And so I've told this story so many times to our clients, I figured there's probably a ton of other people out there that could benefit from understanding the same thing. So to give you guys a little bit of my background, I started a print and promo company in 2010. While I was doing that, I did door-to-door sales from 2006 till about 2 years ago. So I understand sales and marketing from a very, very direct approach. So when I got into this industry, it was a little bit of a change to go from I go out and I find my clients to we're trying to now figure out how clients come to us. And so it's been a little bit of a change, but from those from these, just working in the industry as long as I have and having these awesome clients that we have, I mean, we've seen logos that are just incredible. I mean, just perfect. And then I have clients that have logos that I'm like, what is this? And so this little series of just 10-minute, like I want to keep these, 8 to 10 minutes, will hopefully help you as a company, if you're rebranding or if you have a brand, on how to get noticed. And or if you are starting a business, how to choose a logo and some of the things we look for with really good, clean logos and branding. So we're going to start with this, your logo. So people come to us all the time on a daily basis, and they give us their logos to put on clothes. The ones that we love doing are the crisp, clean ones, maybe one or two colors that are aesthetically pleasing and a lot of the time symmetrical and can kind of tell a story. And so what I mean by that is, if you look at all the recognizable logos in the world, if you think about it, Facebook, Nike, Google, Under Armour, Essentials, all of these brands are very clean. We had a client come to us, and I think their logo had 9 colors in it. And their logo had 9 colors. And we're going to do a whole segment on why you should limit your branding to 1 or 2 colors. But 9 colors, and they were all faded into each other. There's a couple reasons why that's hard. Is number one, it's very, very difficult to actually brand that on apparel, because if you know anything about creating apparel, the more colors you have in the locations, the more expensive your apparel is going to cost you for your company and for your clients. But on top of that, as you embroider or you do any of these other things, it's very difficult to get the correct blends in. And so that's why I always tell people, if they're starting a brand or rebranding, do something very simple. Do a very geometrical, symmetrical, aesthetically pleasing logo that's going to stick out, that isn't hard to see, that your mind can recall if you see it. And so there are, again, like our logo, we call it the hashtag with Lift Threads if you look at it. But when I was designing that logo, I knew for sure I wanted an L and a T, because it's very simple. That's called a monogram, when you put 2 letters together and it makes one, basically like Under Armour is a monogram. The LA logo for the Dodgers is a monogram. And I like that look. And so I just took an L and I took a T and I dinked around with it for a couple days, and I moved it different spots. And what we landed on actually wasn't my favorite. It wasn't my favorite, but it was what we had at that time, and we kind of needed to release something. And so out of all the different variations that I had created of an L and a T, that was my favorite, but I still didn't love it. And I don't even know still to this day if I love it. We actually call it the hashtag here. But what it is it's a recognizable symbol that has meaning to us, the L and the T, the Lift Threads. And then when you talk about Lift, the reason why we chose Lift is the name is because my brand and what we want to do is help lift people. We have a shirt coming out called Lift Your Standards. It's just going to be a big old shirt that says Lift Your Standards on the back, is because our brand is helping other companies lift up their brand and lift up their what they're trying to accomplish. And so that's why we chose that. Now again, we come in here with companies that they don't even have their word in their logo. And so I think this first one is we just want to talk about what we're going to do and how, and why watching these videos is beneficial, is because we want to help you get a recognizable brand. And so the first thing that I would say to do is if you are, let's talk about this in two different ways. The first way is if you're starting a brand. If you're starting a brand or starting a company or starting with something, I would spend a few days looking at the most popular brands in the world. The most popular brands in the world are generally easy to look at, very, very favorable, symmetrical logos. If you think of your most favorite logos, chances are they're not going to be difficult to decipher. And chances are they're very simple, maybe 1, 2, 3 colors at most. The only one that I think is a caveat to that is Google, because every letter is a different color. But even in that, it's just super clean and crisp. Nike, for instance, and we'll talk about this too. So Nike has the word Nike, and then they have their standalone logo, the swoosh, 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 swoosh. And if you read the story of Phil Knight, Shoe Dog, he hated his logo at the beginning, but that's what they had to go with. The only thing he liked about it is the story it told is it looks like the sound it makes when you're passing someone and running. And so his logo tells a story. And then the word Nike is it's the god of athletics, god of sports, god of something in Greek mythology. So that's how they came up with that logo. Before that, it was Blue Ribbon Sports, but their logo wasn't great, but because blue ribbons meant you won something. And so, I mean, if you read the Facebook, it has a story behind the brand. So what I'm getting at with this is if you are starting a company or if you're rebranding a company, take a few days, look at your favorite logos and understand why they catch your eye and why they're aesthetically pleasing. The second thing I would do is there's a website. I'm going to give away a secret here. There's a website called Dafont, DAFONT, Dafont.com. It has 1 billion different fonts. You can put in your company's name or your brand's name or whatever it is. You can put that right there in the search engine bar, the search bar, and then you can go through and there's 1 million different variations. And so when we found Lift Threads, I did that. I put Lift and then Threads in the bar and then I hit search and there's 200 different ways to look at it. And it got like, it kind of messes with your mind a little bit, but you find the fonts that you like and then it's a free download from there. But that's a really quick way to find a font that's clean and manageable. When you're doing your fonts, I wouldn't suggest doing anything very, very skinny because you can't do embroidery with very, very skinny font because it's just like a line and it doesn't work. So try to choose something that if you're going to do skinny, you can do an outline of it. Or it's a little bit thicker that you can get the idea across when you're doing an embroidered shirt or when you're doing a print, because just fine lines just don't simply work when you're doing that stuff. Go to dafont.com, find your font. Then that's your logo, and your logo should have your name in it, plain and simple. But then what I tell people too, and you don't have to have this, but again, most of the brands do, like Facebook has the thumbs up. They've kind of incorporated that, and the F, right? Both of those could arguably be interchangeable for their icon logo. Nike has the swoosh, Under Armour has the UA, and then the word Under Armour. Adidas has their little flower thing. Find something that would kind of mean something to your brand. A lot of people will take a letter out of whatever the word is, and they'll either do a monogram, put them together, or they'll just take like the U and the A, or they'll just take the first letter and make that a logo. Or a really cool logo we have here, there's a company called BioFi we do business with, and we do their logo, and it's a thumbprint because that's what signifies what they do in business. And so your logo, to just kind of, we'll end right here, but when you're deciding a logo with branding, it should be something to where it's going to tell a little bit of your story, but it's also should be something that's easily identifiable. That's the word. And you should be able to recognize it either from an icon logo, and we'll talk about what that is in another, or just your regular word. And they should be able to be used interchangeably, and we'll talk about when you should use each of those in branding as well. But I'm excited to get a little bit of the knowledge that I've had over the years in branding and marketing and those types of things and get that out to the masses. So it'll hopefully help some of these companies figure out how to get noticed or why they're not getting noticed. And I'm going to bring on some people who are a lot smarter than me at this stuff that have really, really awesome brands that will hopefully help us as well. But as always, if you have questions about your brand or how to put your logo on apparel or how to market or content creation or anything like that, email Jonny at liftthreads.com, and that's JONNY at liftthreads.com, or follow us at liftthreads with a Z on Instagram, or JK Johnson on Instagram. And we'd love to help you out, even if it's just you have a few questions about a brand or a business or anything else that you're wanting to start or wanting to rebrand or just aren't quite getting noticed like you should. Reach out to us and we'd love to help you. So that's episode 1. I think episode 2, probably what we're going to go over is what an icon logo is and what a standalone logo is and when to use them in either branding or web design or web or t-shirts or hoodies or whatever else, when to use those. And then we'll also go over taglines and why those are important as well. So thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon.